Hello, this is Jura recording for iCIT. In this week's Microsoft Office Feature of the Week podcast, we are going to look at printing oversized spreadsheets. So let's get started. I will open my spreadsheet, which should start Excel. And here it is. And as you can see, this is a spreadsheet, which I'm sure by anyone's standards is a small spreadsheet. And yet, it is fairly long, and it is also quite wide, which means that if we print this spreadsheet, most definitely it is not going to be able to fit on one page. So if we use the default settings in Microsoft Excel, this is not going to be very useful. Let's try it though. So I will go to my Office button and select Print. And now, normally I would use my own printer, as would you, but for the sake of this demonstration, I will use Adobe PDF so that I can show you on the screen what would come out of your printer on paper. So I chose Adobe PDF, and now let's click OK. It will ask me for the name of my PDF file. I will name it Print 1 and click OK. And here's our printed file. This is what your file, if you print it from my Excel spreadsheet here, would look like on paper. On the first page, it looks okay. We have the headings for each column, and we see the names of the students on the left, and then we have some information about each one of those students. The students, the names, and all the other data is fictitious, so you don't have to worry about the privacy of the students. Now, if we scroll down on the second page, we still have the names, but we lost the headings for each column, so we no longer know what column refers to what. Now, if we scroll down, it gets even worse. On this page, we no longer have the names of the students, so I have completely no idea what this row refers to. We still have the heading, but if I scroll to the next one, we have neither. So I don't have the name of the students on the left, and I don't have the headings of the columns. Even worse, if you print it out and drop it on the floor, the pages are not numbered, and so it will be very difficult for you to figure out what is what and in what order they should go. So let's close this and fix some things in Excel. I will click on this little X button here and minimize my Adobe Acrobat. We'll get back to it in a second. We're back in our spreadsheet, and now I'll make some changes. First of all, let's go on our ribbon to the Page Layout tab. I will click on Page Layout, and here, rather than selecting one of the choices that we have, I will go to Page Setup and click on this tiny button here, which will bring up the dialog box with Page Setup options. First, let's go to the last tab, which is called Sheet. Okay, now this allows me to tell Excel which one of the rows and which columns I would like repeated on each page of my printout. So rows to repeat at top, I will click inside this field and then click on the left on number 3. And as you can see, it selected the appropriate row. Now for columns to repeat at left, I will click inside this field. Now I would like to repeat not one, but 2 columns. I would like to repeat the student's first name and last name. To do that, I will click on top where it says A and B, click and drag. Now that I selected both, I will let go. And columns to repeat at left are now selected. Very good. I also get the choice of page order, so we can go down our spreadsheet and then across, or we can go across and then down. I prefer the first option, but it's up to you, whatever works better. Okay, now in addition to doing this, we can do something else. Let's click on Header Footer Information, and here we can tell Excel what to print on top of each page. I actually like to have the number of the page on top, but I don't want just the number of the page. I want to know how many pages total I have in my printout. Let's see if that's available. I will click on this arrow down here, and indeed The third choice is page 1 of how many. I will choose that. Click. And it says page 1 of 1. Of course, it will be 1 out of many more pages. And for the footer, I can choose also some things. I usually like to have the date when the spreadsheet was printed, so I know if it's current or not, and also the name of the file. So from the choices here, I can only choose one, which is not great. Instead, I will go and choose custom footer. And here on the left, I will select, let's see, we can select insert file path, no, file name, yes. And then on the right, I would like to do date, insert date, comma, regular comma on my keyboard, space, and then time. And with that, I am done. Click OK. Very good. As you can see, it will print the name of my file at the bottom part of my page, and on the right bottom part of my page, it will print the date and the time when the spreadsheet was printed. Okay, I'm happy with that. I will click OK. And now let's try printing again. So I will go to my Office button and go to Print. Of course, you could press Control-P on your keyboard if you prefer that. And we will again print to Adobe PDF. I will click OK. Let's make sure that all the pages will print. And it's asking me for the name. Now I will call it Print 2, simply because I want to distinguish between the two. And I will click Save. You wouldn't have to click Save. Instead, the spreadsheet would appear on paper coming out of your printer. Let's click Save. And now we will see our newly printed Excel spreadsheet. This is what it would look on paper coming out of your printer. So as you can see on top, we have the page number, and it also tells us that it's 1 out of 12 pages, so we know we have 12 pages total. We have the title, we have the header row, which will be repeated on every page, and at the bottom of every page we have the name of the file and also the date and time when it was printed. Now, it looked good on the first page before, but it didn't look so good on the last pages. So let's scroll down in our, I can actually go to the scroll bar, make it faster. Very good. So here we are, here we are on page 12. And as you can see, even on page 12, on the last page, which only has a little information on it, we still have the names of the students repeated on the left. So the first 2 columns are repeated on each page, and the top row is the header row. Also, we have the number of the page, so we know this is the last one. And at the bottom of the last page, as in all the other pages, we have the name of the file, and we have the date and time when this was printed. Well, that's it. As you can see, printing oversized spreadsheets can be made much simpler and much more useful by using some of the options available in Microsoft Office Excel 2007. I'm Jura, recording for iCIT, and that's all in this week's Microsoft Office Feature of the Week podcast. I hope you will join me next week. Thank you.